Family, what's the word? This upload here, it's interesting. If you believe in love spells, this upload's for you. If you believe that love spells can backfire, it's for you. Listen at these stories that these people tell about love spells being placed on them and others and how it affected their futures. Now, story time. I had an ex from Houston, Texas City to be exact, and she went to psychics on me. She put quote unquote spells on me and this and that. Was I affected? I don't think I was. And basically, she was the problem, like point blank period. But when you don't treat a person right, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you cannot just go and try to put a spell on them. No. And if you do, what are you going to do to replace that energy? Yes. Anyway, $ Trap House Kitchen 1. I really need my loyal supporters to tap in. And yeah, let's get to the content.
Before you do a love spell on that man, make sure you watch this video first. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Tanya. Tanya says that she tried a love spell, but she regrets it deeply. So in 2013, Tanya met the father of her 2 youngest kids. His name was Greg. At first, everything felt perfect. He was charming, sweet. It felt real. But as time went on, things started to change. One day he went to work and Tanya started feeling sick, so she took a pregnancy test. She found out that she was pregnant. She was so happy. And she thought that telling him about her pregnancy would bring them closer together. Instead, he beat her black and blue. After that, Tanya got desperate. She so badly wanted to bring back the old version of him. So she searched online, and that's when she found the love jar spell. Tanya said that she followed the instructions exactly, down to the letter. And it worked. At first, Tanya says that he became very sweet again, loving. He did things for her that she'd never even expect. She thought maybe, just maybe, the spell just fixed everything. But something still felt off. Tanya said that the sweetness wasn't real. It didn't even feel human. But still, she stayed. And she even did it again when she found out that he was cheating. And once again, the man changed. Once again, became the perfect man. Until one day, he was cleaning up the house and he found the jars. He asked Tanya about the jars and what they were. Tanya lied and said that she didn't know. And that man snapped. At the time, Tanya was 5 months pregnant. He threw her across the room like she weighed nothing. And her unconscious. Tanya said that she made sure afterwards that the baby was okay, and she was. But him? Greg? Yeah, he wasn't okay. The man that she once loved was gone, and something else entirely had taken his place. And that's when she realized that this wasn't just abuse. It was something darker. In part 2 of this story, you will learn how the love spell turned him into something inhumane. If you want to hear how the story ended, leave a comment for part 2. Like I say at the end of every single video, I love you, my abducted human, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Before you do a love spell on that man, make sure you watch this video first. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Julia. I am back with another spooky story. So like many others, Julia was scrolling through TikTok when she came across various love spells. Intrigued, she decided to try not just one, but multiple spells. A love spell, a binding spell, an obsession spell, and a third-party removal spell. The target of these spells was a co-worker named Juan, with whom Julia worked with at a warehouse. Julia says the first love spell took effect almost immediately. She noticed a change in Juan's demeanor. His eyes seemed different, and he expressed his love for her more intensely. As their relationship deepened, he decided to move in with Julia, and Julia herself agreed. Initially, everything was perfect. However, as time passed, Juan's behavior started becoming possessive. He couldn't bear to be without Julia, insisting on constant communication even during work hours. On their separate days off, Juan would wait outside for Julia. He would wait outside the workplace for hours. And that's when she realized that the obsession spell had taken hold. The third-party removal spell also appeared effective, as he wanted to be with her exclusively, moving in shortly after. No one caught Juan's eyes but Julia. Julia says his possessiveness escalated to the point where she couldn't even move or even use the bathroom without him accompanying her. And when Julia expressed that his behavior was overwhelming, he reacted violently. He pulled out a pew-pew on her. Initially, he threatened to do it to himself, but then he flipped the pew-pew on Julia, declaring that if he couldn't have Julia, then no one else could. Terrified, Julia pleaded him to stop, assuring him that she would never leave him. He made Julia promise to never leave him, and out of fear, Julia complied. Julia says despite of the danger, she stayed. And each time she would try to leave, he would threaten her with the pew-pew, reinforcing that she too was trapped. The abuse became physical. He would not only hit her, but he would often use the pew-pew as a means of intimidation. One day, while he was out, Julia came up with an escape plan. She called her mother for help, and during the call,
Family, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you like this video. $ Trap House Kitchen 1. Shoot your boy some love in the Cash App. And let's get back to it.
he had unexpectedly returned. And he became immediately suspicious of her actions. You trying to leave, ho? She managed to convince him, though, that she wasn't planning anything. And eventually, he left again. And seizing the opportunity, Julia locked all the doors and waited for her mother to come. He returned once more. But this time, all the doors were locked, so he couldn't come in. He shouted threats, accusing her of trying to leave him, and he was making sure that she knew if you are trying to leave, it ain't gonna be so easy. When her mother finally arrived, she left with her mother and never looked back. She had to move out of the apartment and relocate for safety. Julia says, ironically, we worked together and he filed a restraining order against me. So he filed a restraining order against Julia, falsely claiming that she had threatened his life. When in reality, Julia says it was actually the opposite. She says she prayed to her ancestors, asking them to remove the spells that she had casted. Since then, she's continued practicing magic, but vowed never, ever, ever to do another love spell on another person. She says she learns that love spells rarely result in positive outcomes. Wow, Julia, thank you so much for submitting this story. Thank you so much for submitting the story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit it to me either on my TikTok DM or my Instagram. Your story. Like I say in every single video, I love you by Abducted Humans from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Bestie, the story.
I did a love spell on someone I was in love with and it worked. But what came after, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Nia. Nia said, I need to tell you something that I never thought I'd admit out loud. We're gonna call her crush Micah. His name was Micah, he had a girlfriend, but however, Nia didn't care. Nia said that she knew that Micah was supposed to be hers. Micah would smile at her sometimes, talk to her a little too long, and Nia thought maybe, just maybe, if she had a little help to help sway him from his girlfriend to her, she would be golden. Nia said that she knew what she felt for Micah was real. And in her eyes, Micah's girlfriend, we're gonna call her Rhea. To Nia, Rhea was just in the way. So Nia had heard about this woman in town that people were whispering about. They said that she could make things happen. So Nia went to the woman and told her that she wanted Micah to love her and only her. Now the woman looked at Nia long and hard before she said, and I quote, I can give you what you're asking for, but once it starts, you can't undo it. Nia said she didn't care, so she said yes because she wanted him. The woman gave her specific instructions on what to do. She needed a red candle, his photo, a little bit of honey, some personal ingredients, like personal item, a prayer over water at midnight, and some of her menstrual. Now Nia says she followed the instructions exactly to the T. She said, and let me tell you, it worked fast. Micah started texting her out of nowhere, and he started texting her more and more. He would find himself showing up where she was at, suddenly telling her that he couldn't stop thinking about her. He even said to her one day that he left his girlfriend, Rhea, out of the picture, gone. Nia said in that moment, hearing that this man done left his girlfriend Rhea for her, she said that to be honest, she felt powerful. She felt chosen until in one night, Micah shows up outside of Nia's house, crying, boohoo crying. And he just said to her out of nowhere, why did you do this to me? I can't eat, I can't think, I feel you even when you're not around. You tied my soul. I know you did something to me. Then out of nowhere, the man smiled. Now, Nia says that this didn't look like his regular smile. It's like his face moved. There was something else inside of him entirely. That's when he leans in and says to her, "Why didn't you feed it?"
Story time. So you might want to go get your snacks. I already told y'all this morning the story was coming, so you should be prepared. And we're also going to do a review from my plug, because my plug came through yet again. So trigger warning about this story, because it's kind of disturbing. This story is from a country where child marriages are legal, or it's a thing. So boom, there's this little girl, let's call her Susan. So Susan is about 11 years old, so it's safe to say that she's a child. Susan didn't really grow up with too much. Her family was pretty poor. They struggled to eat damn near every day. In the country that they live, a job is not really something that they find. Well, you can find a job, but it's just super duper hard. Like, it's really hard. Her mom is a stay-at-home mom, obviously. Her dad wants to work, but he can't really find a job. So her mom has this little snack business where they make like a snack in their country and they sell it. So like a street food seller. And her dad owns a motorcycle, so he kind of like charges for motorcycle rides, and that's how they get through. Although it's not enough, but that's the most that they could do. Which in terms forces Susan to work at other people's houses in order to also bring some kind of income. So she's basically like a maid or something, right? So one of the houses that she works for, the family is pretty rich. And one day, while she was there working, the family had a visitor, and the visitor came, and she does her job as a maid. She cooks, she cleans, she serves the visitor. And this visitor is a 45-year-old man. And as she's working, this 45-year-old man took a very great liking to Susan. And he was staying over there for about a week or so. So Susan had to literally like serve him every day. And every day that she served him, it seems like he's getting touchier and more lovey-dovey. And again, this is kind of normalized in their country, but again, Susan is a child, so of course she feels uncomfortable because it's not normal, you know? Boom, by like the 4th day that he's there visiting, he makes it very clear to the family and to Susan that he wants to marry Susan because she does such a great job. She would be an amazing mother one day. I know, sick. And Susan tries her best to be respectful because in that country too, women don't really have many rights. So any little thing that she does that may come across as disrespectful, she can get in big trouble for, or her family is gonna pay for it, and her family already like don't have enough to go by. So she really doesn't want to, upset anybody. Now, before I go on with the story, let me show you what I got from my plug. Look at these cute Celine earrings, y'all. Yup. Again, my plug is always gonna come through. She be taking my money and I don't even care anymore. So I'm gonna put her information somewhere in this video though. Anyway, so by the 4th day, he's pretty clear on he wants to marry her. Susan is trying to like kind of tell him no without telling him no, because in that country, you don't have the privilege of saying no as a woman. So at that point, she's just like praying and hoping that the day that he leaves comes even faster, because once he leaves, she don't gotta marry this man. So like by the 5th day, he tells her that he wants to meet her parents because he's willing to pay, for the marriage in order to be able to marry her. And again, she wants to say no so bad, but she can't. And the family that she works for also knows her parents, so they set it up. So boom, this 45-year-old man goes to this little girl's house to speak to her parents, to tell her parents how, he wants to marry her. He wants her to be his wife. They spoke, they had dinner and stuff like that, and then he leaves, right? And after he left, they came to Susan to ask Susan, like, do you want to marry this man? So Susan made it very clear that she doesn't want to marry this man. She's 11 years old. She don't want to marry anybody. However, the amount of money that he's offering could save this family. So they're not really happy about the fact that she says she doesn't want to marry him. Like, what do you mean? This man is offering this much money for you? You're going to marry him. And it's messed up, I know, but it's the reality of it. So this turns into like this big argument to where they're like screaming at Susan like, what do you mean? You can save this family. We don't have to work as hard anymore. Da, 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 da. Susan is like, if y'all make me marry this man, I'm going to run away. I don't care. I'm gonna run away. But they don't care because guess what? The dad ends up calling the man behind Susan's back and saying, yes, Susan will marry him. So when she went to work the next day, the guy was there and the guy was like, oh my God, there's my bride. And Susan is like, what do you mean? And the guy told Susan that her dad called and said, basically gave the okay, and they will be getting married. So Susan is devastated because she's seen like some of her friends, what happens to them in these marriages. They get abused. It's just bad, and she's terrified. So when she goes home, she was being serious about running away. She starts to pack her stuff to run away. And one of her siblings sees her doing that, goes to her dad and tells her that Susan is actually about to run away. So dad comes back. He comes back and he beats Susan because she was going to try to run away. And then after he did that, he looks at her and says, it's okay because I got something for you. The dad then proceeded to go to a voodoo priest to do a love spell on Susan so that she can willingly marry this man without all this fight. He goes there, the voodoo priest did what he had to do, told him what he had to do, and he did it, and it worked. It worked. The way that he did it was through food. The food that, they gave Susan made her all of a sudden be in love with this man. The thing about love spells is that it's against their will. Although it seems like she was in love with this man, she wasn't, because it wasn't her. But she couldn't control it either. Like, she's willingly doing things for him, and she's willingly preparing for the wedding day and stuff like that. The whole family's happy. The whole family is happy because Susan all of a sudden loves this man. And they're about to be rich because they're about to have all this money. And long story short, Susan does end up marrying that man. And once the love spell thing wore off, she hated her life. She hated her marriage. Like, she hated everything about what she was going through. And about a year later, so a year later, she would be 12 years old. About a year later, she ended up being pregnant. And when she found out she was pregnant, unfortunately, she unalived herself. Unfortunately, this story does not have a happy ending, but it just goes to show how much some of us really are privileged, because this is real life. People really go through this kind of stuff. And it also makes my heart break because I don't know if y'all know Dora. She recently passed away, and she was this great woman that adopted over 500 kids, saved them from child marriages and abusive households. And a lot of people weren't happy about that. A lot of men weren't happy about that. Me personally, I feel like her death was definitely, I don't want to speak on things that I don't know, but I do feel like she didn't willingly go. And I feel as though it needs to be investigated. When I saw that she passed away, y'all, I was so heartbroken because she was literally saving people like Susan. Kids like Susan. She provided them with school, food, a living, health insurance, but hey.
Don't want you, and you do a spell to make that person come back. Did you know every little thing that person don't like gonna come on their mind? Let's say you got a man, right? The only thing make him mad is when you keep going out with your friends or dudes keep hollering at you. Did you know this how the devil work? The devil will send all them different kind of men to talk to you, knowing your man crazy. All of a sudden, your man want to jump on you, put his hands on you. And men put spells on women too, trying to make that woman stay with him because she fine, she got this and that. I don't want nobody to have him. I'm telling you. Some of these women go crazy over a man. And then all of a sudden, different women in your inbox, all of a sudden, all these folks trying to talk to you, she think you cheating, and you done broke her heart so many times. That woman gonna do something to you and do something to them women too. Y'all better be careful playing with this stuff now. It's real out here.
If you made it to the end of this video, let me know you made it. Just simply say I made it. And if you really rock with me, $ Trap House Kitchen 1. Now, these love spell things can be dangerous. Just like anything else, it can backfire. But are you ready to do something like that and chance it backfiring? And if you successfully place your love spell on somebody, what's next? Like, really, what's next? Anyway, thanks for being here, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm out. Peace.